officially start the meeting at 6:45 instead of, technically 7. Just so everybody who's giving presentations will be here by 6:45.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you guys a question? Do the rules about permeable surfaces for like driveways and that kind of thing apply to the properties along Water Street down by Joppa?
No, I mean, not the same way they do out on Plum Island. So on Plum Island, we have actual regulations in place and written guidelines that say that you can only use, loose material for driveways and things that you can't use any pavement or hard materials. But that is only on Plum Island. We might recommend it to people on Water Street, but within flood zones and things to sort of like roughen up the surface and slow down the movement of floodwaters, etc. But it's for different reasons. And that's not in writing.
Okay, thank you. I just wondered, I was walking by some recently rehabbed, I guess you could say, or improved houses down by Joppa, and I noticed that they had just put in like all these brand new heavy cobblestones, and I thought, just wondering whether they should have been doing that, but. So
Yeah, no,
you.
they can put in whatever they want there.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, Bill.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Bill.
Hey, I think I figured out my computer problem. I had a brand new computer and I had to have the motherboard replaced.
Oh,
Just got back today, so
Is
yeah.
it working now?
I think so. So hopefully I won't have any more of that cracking or feedback, whatever I had.
oh, you
before.
thought it might? Okay.
Yeah,
You're lucky the part came in so soon.
very lucky. I had to send it into Dell. I was without a computer for about 5 days, so that's okay.
Yeah. Mine started not booting on for me, and I got so frustrated with it. I started bashing it on my lap, and ever since I did that, it hasn't not booted for me.
It started working.
Seriously,
You
I
spanked your
blew the thing up.
computer?
I just like bashed it a bunch of times because I had nothing to lose, and now it works fine.
Oh,
That's
God.
funny. I used to have to do that with my computer at work at City Hall. I would basically spank it, like Carol said, slap it, and it would start working. It would make all these weird loud noises, but if you hit it in the right spot, it would stop.
That's
Oh, boy.
hysterical. Mm.
All right, so is Gretchen here?
Yes.
There she is. Okay, wasn't in my thing. So, all right, it's a short meeting. Steve, thanks for coming so far to go to the meeting.
You're welcome.
Steve is in New Zealand right now, by the way. So let's bring this meeting to order. It's the December 20th, 2022 Newburyport Conservation Commission meeting taking place on the Zoom platform, and this meeting is being recorded. First item on the agenda are the meeting minutes from December 6th. Do we have any changes or questions? And
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All the way from New Zealand.
Second.
All right, roll call. Steve Moore,
Yes.
David Vine,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
Yes.
Bill Mullen,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Also, Dan won't be here tonight either. All right, next item on the agenda are Plum Island updates.
Okay, don't have a lot of Plum Island updates, other than that the dredge has paused. I don't know if you've all heard about that. They brought in the big new dredge. I believe it's called the Oyster or something. And they had to take their staff away from the project to go do another project for just a couple of weeks. They will be back in January, like mid-January, to start on the outer entrance channel. And in the meantime, the pipe is all laying out there. So hopefully things will stay put and we won't get any major storms because the beach elevation is still fairly low. But things look pretty good out there right now. So just fingers crossed that it will be in good shape by the time they get back in
Yeah,
January.
hopefully this weekend, because I saw one prediction is 60-mile-an-hour winds here too.
Yeah, high tide too.
I know,
Yeah.
this is
and
the
some
weekend
high tide
that's
flooding.
making me a little
Um,
nervous.
Do
On
we have
the,
any idea why they left? Did they have some,
They
I guess they can
pulled
do
their,
whatever they want.
their workers, they had to go to, all I know is what I got in an email from Senator Tarr's aide who had heard from Army Corps that they had to pull their workers to go finish some other project somewhere else, and then they'll be back.
On the 73rd, 77th Street, I was out there and I read the memo that they sent us, and I got I guess my question is, what is that finally going to look like when they're done? I mean, right now, it's very subtle as far as the change that's been made out there.
Mhm.
What's the final look like?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we never had any really real renderings of what it would look like, but my understanding is that they have not started to pump the majority of the sand yet. So that there's a much greater quantity still to come that should elevate that beach above where it is at right now. Again, I don't know, and I don't think that they know exactly how much sand they're going to be pulling in until they start actually dredging. But I expect that the elevation of the beach should go higher and that those rocks should get eventually covered. That's my expectation.
Yeah, it looked like they filled in some of the further, I guess, west or east,
Yes.
big opening in, the bay there that's been created, but it didn't seem like the actual surface, the actual profiles were up very high.
No, I don't think they are yet. And again, like I agree with you. I'm hoping that it's just because they haven't actually brought in the majority of the sand yet, and that they will eventually see a more significant change in the elevation. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
Okay.
I think that's all I have on Plum Island. No MRBA meetings scheduled that I know of. I don't know if you all heard of anything.
I don't think so. And we also have a Moby Mats application.
Yes, so there's a resident at the end of 55th Street who would like to apply for, actually, I wrote that down on the agenda wrong. It's 53rd and 57th Street Moby Mats. But this local resident wants to submit an application for Moby Mats, additional Moby Mats. We already have Moby Mats assigned to 53rd Street and 57th Street access ways. These residents believe that we need a longer extension of the mats in both of those locations, and so they want to apply for CPC funds for additional mats. I just am bringing this up to see whether or not it's something that the commission wants to support, sort of formally support this application. I don't have a copy of the application. I don't have a lot of detail in terms of where they would be stored, who's in charge of rolling them out and installing them and bringing them back in the fall, and where they get stored, etc. So I feel like we do need a little bit more information, and I'm happy to forward to you the actual CPC application for this when I get it, and then you could take a look and let me know if it's something that you want to,
I think that application is on that new city website.
So it's already come in. Do you have you seen it?
I think I've seen it listed. I don't think I opened
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So
Right.
I think it's available on there.
Okay. Well, maybe then everyone can take a look at it, and I will too. And I'll have a talk with the city, with Andy Port and others, because it's city property that these would be going on, and I'm not sure that the entity applying for the funds is, it's definitely not the city applying for the funds, whether it's PETA, whether they're sort of part of the PETA or another local Plum Island group. I just think we need to look at those details and make sure that
Isn't that state property is going on?
actually 53rd and 53rd, 55th and 57th, that part of the beach is actually city property. It's
It is,
only
okay.
north of the jetty that it's PCR.
Oh,
So the
oh,
city,
all right.
the city, the mats that are there, the city currently takes care of.
Yeah,
Yep.
DPS rolls them out and brings them back, rolls them out in the spring, brings them back in the fall, and I believe they're stored at PETA Hall. So I just would want to make sure that DPS is involved in sort of approving this application and wanting to take on and the installation of additional mats in those locations and storage, et cetera. Or if not them, that there's some understood cooperative arrangement between the group applying for the grant and DPS, et cetera.
Julie, I realize it's a bad time of year to bring this up, but on the beach management plan, we
Mhm.
sort of stopped.
I know.
Uh,
I guess we just need to set up a meeting, get everybody back together and finalize it, because in my mind, it's ready to go.
Yeah, I thought we were real close.
We are real close. We're really close. Sharif was going to take a look at some additional language and make some changes to the public safety section. And I mean, I think life kind of gets in the way, elections and holidays and things like that. So maybe if I reach out to Sharif and you and Daryl and we just put a date in the books to get back together, that's probably.
Yeah, I assume 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
minimum.
gonna schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, beach management meeting. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you for bringing that up. Okay. That's
all
it.
right, anything else? Good. All right, our one and only application, is a request for determination by Mark Nagel, 2057th Street.
Okay. Tom, I don't know if you can hear me. I just moved Tom over to a panelist so he can give a presentation on this RDA. Tom, are you over? You can unmute yourself. Let me know how to scroll through this.
All right, good
There
evening.
he is.
Tom Hughes with Hughes Environmental Consulting. This is a relatively straightforward project. Basically, if we want to jump through it, you can see the site right there. It's located on 57th Street on the corner at Reservation Terrace. It's in the VE23 zone. If we can go on to the location map, so you all know roughly where that is. And you can see, so half of the site's mapped in the VE23, the other half is out of the floodplain entirely. And then we can jump on, I think it's just the FEMA map, same thing. And then the next one, just some site photos here. And if you can zoom out a little bit. Okay, so what is proposed is actually in that center top photo. Basically, if you look on the right, there's a view. Actually, if you look on the bottom left, it's the same current view of the structure as that rendering is put on top of. Essentially, it's a roof deck going up. All of that, and they're taking where the roof deck is going on. They're lifting part of the roof that it's laying on. All that work is up and above the flood elevation. A spiral staircase comes down from the deck down to an existing deck at that grade. We show that on the plan, supported by helical pile. It's possible they'll be able to figure out some way to frame it where we don't need that support, but we wanted to show a pile in that location in case it's needed. The existing site is a kind of mix of there's vegetation, gravel, you know, et cetera, but there's really not, there's nothing proposed in terms of expansion outside the existing footprint. Everything's vertical and pretty much associated with that roof deck. And let me just double check my list of things that I had in the RDA to make sure I'm not missing anything. So we basically have a helical pile supported spiral staircase, rooftop deck, roof line being adjusted with extending minor sections of exterior wall to meet the new roof line. So basically they're going to lift up the sides of the roof to meet the roof deck. All work other than the stairways above flood elevation. And if needed, dumpster would be in the driveway. It's possible the work is small enough, they may just throw stuff into trucks to remove from the site daily. But and while we don't anticipate any damage to vegetation from the work, obviously any damaged vegetation will be replaced in kind. So it's again, pretty straightforward project. You know, but what we're looking for is a negative determination to allow the work to proceed. Oh, and there is a set of stairways being removed. Sorry, if you look at the very top there, that right there, that stairs is going away.
Tom, just out of curiosity, why are they
Yeah.
removing that stair?
I don't know, probably architectural
Okay.
reason, but Eileen is available to me by text if I could text her the question, but I
Not
honestly don't know.
necessary.
Yeah. You know, so we show contractor parking, dumpster location. You know, I still don't buy how they've modeled the flood. It's the only place on any of the barriers where we have a VE on the ocean side that doesn't have an AO behind it.
Right.
It's just weird. You go from a 23 to an X.
And it doesn't, it's not like they're on such a steep incline here.
Right. Well, we also have to remember that modeling was done when we had 350 feet of reservation terrace too.
That is true.
So.
Yeah. Good point. Although this is,
I mean, we're on the other side of the jetty, but it's possible maybe they're considering the jetty somehow influencing the flood there, but I still would have expected an overwash zone behind it. Instead, on Plum Island in the Newburyport section, you have the overwash zone behind backwards, like behind the VE zone on the basin side. I just,
yeah.
it's almost like somebody,
Hard
you
to-
know, somebody had a little dyslexia when they were doing the flood mapping of that end of the island. But regardless, it is VE 23, it's mapped. The work is far enough above the ground and the ground is at a high enough elevation that we're up above the flood with that work up on the roof.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
No. I don't know, Julia, you had recommended approving this with a condition, and I don't remember what the condition was.
It was really just, it was so minor. And now that looking at the photos again, I'm not super concerned about it. Just in terms of the construction laydown and staging with equipment and trucks and stuff, you know, with timber and whatnot. But it looks to me like this driveway area provides pretty good access to the structure and to the site without the need for them to cause any damage to vegetation. That was the only thing I was concerned about, was like during construction, but
Well, it's not a big deal to just put a -3 with a
Yeah.
requirement to replace any damaged vegetation.
Right,
Yep.
and I will note, there's a note on the plan that says we're obligated to do that anyway. So even if you didn't put the condition, it's enforceable through the plan. But
Okay.
either way, that's fine.
As far as where they're parking now, I'm looking at the ortho and I see it. How does that compare to the photo below it? Is it just that open area there that they park?
Yeah, so if you look in the ortho photo, you look below it, it's basically, really everything almost from where that tree is over. You can kind of see, where they park the most in those in the sand area, but it does look like, I don't think there's a lot of vegetation under that tree. I think you're seeing some needles
Mm.
on the ground there.
So they're not changing anything along those lines or
No,
changing any fence?
nothing at all proposed there.
Okay.
Now, it's not uncommon, people focus so much on their house plans and their designs, and then they get near the end and they think, oh, can we put in some plantings, or, can we put clamshell down or something? So if something along those lines happen, we would just coordinate with Julia and come back if it's necessary,
Okay.
but nothing is planned at this time.
Okay. Anything else? Get a motion?
Make a motion for a -3 determination with that condition that we talked about, for repairing any damaged vegetation.
A second,
All right, roll call. Steve Moore,
Yes,
David Vine,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
yes.
Bill Mullen,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great holiday.
Thanks, Tom.
You
Yeah.
too.
Take care. Bye.
Wow.
Okay, so I see we have that thing on fences, which I looked at that binder I had, and it was for Newbury. The person who
Ah.
gave it to me was somebody from Newbury. It does not have the original regulations and ordinance in it for Newburyport. So,
Okay. Like, I'll look into it a little bit more myself. We can pick that up at the next meeting when Charlie and Dan are available.
Did you find out anything more about whether some sort of notice though that can go out? We talked about doing
Yes.
the notice.
Yes, thank you, Carol. That was a great idea, and we are going to do that. In fact, I have all the envelopes labeled and everything for every household on Plum Island to receive a copy of our fence guidelines, essentially. And I'm waiting until, and I even have all of our fence guidelines sheet in color. Got it printed at Minuteman. I'm waiting until after the holidays to send it out, because I feel like this time of year, people just get so much mail that they're not gonna look at it.
yeah, no, that would be a
Good idea.
good thing to do.
But yeah, I'm excited to get that out there. I think it'll make a difference, and it will just help our case in terms of, when people don't know, which they really don't a lot of the time. Little by little, the more we can send out that information and have it get out there, the better, case we have for enforcing regs. Unless,
Yeah.
of course, we can change that.
I have a question on Captain Joe's and that whole business of the boat restaurant and so forth. It said in the meeting minutes, and you had said that you were going to speak to them. You had a meeting scheduled.
Yes.
What is, are they intending to do any more updates on the Chapter 91, or just continue to tell us that they're not doing anything?
I wish I had better, something more useful to report on that. I did have a meeting with Paul Avery last week about the goat project, which is of course next door where the old coffee roasters used to be. And they're going to put this goat restaurant in there, and they've done a lot of internal renovations. Now they want to do some external renovations outside the building. So that would have to come before the commission. So Paul Avery came in to meet with me to talk about those plans and what was required in terms of permitting, which would be a notice of intent in that case, because they are planning some railings and they're going to elevate the bulkhead in one location. So that will be coming before us. And what I said to him was, this is probably also going to bring up the question of a Chapter 91 license. And we still are waiting for information about the applicability of your existing Chapter 91 license for the Captain Joe's project. And so we're just trying to sort of get it out there that they should probably have this addressed for everything going on down there on their property. Paul is not involved. He's not the consultant who they would be having do the Chapter 91 work. But I told him to convey that to Chris Skiba and New England Development, which he did. And then Chris gave me a call back and we chatted about it. And Chris said that, you know, it's in the lawyer's hands, and it's tricky because they're working with the restaurant owners, with Tuscan and that group, and they're sort of in charge of Captain Joe's, and then the GOAT is developing their property and they're in charge of what they want to do there. But then you've got New England Development and their lawyers who are responsible for things like Chapter 91 licenses, etc. So they have to kind of come together in the middle. And I just reinforced again through several emails that not only will the Captain Joe's project not be able to be reestablished in the spring without Chapter 91 approval either in hand or forthcoming, but the question could come up again with the GOAT project. And so it just behooves them to start working on this sooner rather than later. And that's all we can do at this point, is just to continue to remind them that the ball is in their court on this. And you know, but again, I don't have anything.
Well, it was a good way to light a fire under them anyways.
Mhm.
When-
Hopefully light a
writing.
fire.
Yeah, well.
It's been put in writing numerous times. That not only that, and it's also in their permit, but like, we just keep reinforcing it because nobody wants to be in a situation in the spring where these restaurants want to do what they need to do and they are not allowed. I don't want the city to feel responsible for it because it's not the city's responsibility.
Right, something they gotta do. And, you know, if they're not gonna be able to open up Captain Joe's, that's incentive to get it done.
When you say Captain Joe's, I don't know what you're referring to. Are you referring to that little patio area next to Tuscan Grill or something else?
Yes, yeah.
That's
Like
Captain
the raw
Joe's?
bar, yeah,
Okay.
that raw bar. They named it Captain Joe's. Actually, I'm not really even sure what the official name is, but when they came to us for the permits for it, they were calling it Captain Joe's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think it was called that. I think it was called something else when they opened it, but
Yeah, it was called like the raw bar.
something, I don't know. It looks like some more work's been done on the GOAT. I walked by there today. It looks like they have done some inside work anyway. The front is still all boarded up at the sides, or like
Yeah.
new windows and stuff there.
Yep, they're doing they've done a lot of the interior work and hoping to start on some of this exterior stuff, but we don't have an application from them yet. We still don't have the plans. I believe they're working on putting together those plans right now. So
Have they filed paperwork with the city? You said, I think that they had to go in front of zoning.
they do also, yeah, they have to get a zoning determination. And again, we don't have their plans yet. They haven't actually put together their detailed plans yet with everything on it that they want to do. So we're waiting for that.
Isn't there an article in the paper that there was a stop order of some sort on this?
Yeah, I believe the building commissioner.
Right, and I guess they've been allowed to go forward?
They were, they got the building permits that they needed to do the interior renovations, but initially they didn't have those either.
Yeah. So that's how they managed, that's when they decided to get the plans.
Okay. Anything else?
Do we have anything for the first meeting in January? Or is there anything that is on the agenda?
We have one item, actually two items on the agenda for the first meeting in January. They're both, it's similar to this meeting. They're Tom Hughes will be representing an applicant at 166 Northern Boulevard. where they need to close out an old order of conditions, and then they have an RDA for something new that's very minor. So that's it. That's the only thing on that agenda. And then for the following agenda in January, second meeting in January, which I believe is like the 17th. It's the 21 Malcolm Hoyt Drive is back. We'll be back at that point. Development on the corner of Hale Street and Malcolm Hoyt Drive. That would be the second
Okay.
meeting.
When you
I'm
coming back,
not-
Steve?
14th.
Yeah, so you'll be home for that, the second meeting in January, which will be great.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll make the next meeting. I'm
That's
not
okay.
sure what our schedule is, but
Well, it's impressive enough that you're at this meeting,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
didn't expect you at this one, so. Okay,
And has the rule allowing these meetings to continue to be online been extended? Because I thought that only went to the end of December.
Not sure. That's a good question too. I can ask Andy Port.
I thought it went to the end of March, but I'm not
Well, you
sure.
could be right. I don't know why I thought. I
March
thought-
seems to ring a bell.
Yeah, I don't remember it being December.
Okay,
Um,
I don't mind continuing it forever.
We know you want to meet in person, Carol.
we'd have to go to a hybrid situation, which is tricky
Yeah,
technologically.
no, I'm fine with this. I just thought that it was supposed to be, they were supposed to stop it at some point, so. I
It
couldn't-
does time out at some point. You're right. I just have to confirm when. I think it is in the spring at some point.
I mean, so many things have been permanently changed that who knows, maybe they'll just decide.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
And
mean,
and this might end up being the same thing.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
I also sent the link to that, the Moby Matt CPA,
okay.
request too. I found that,
Very much.
so. All right, last chance. Anything else?
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
Happy
happy,
holidays.
yeah.
enjoy, everybody. All right.
Motion
See you all
motion to
next
adjourn.
year.
You
Okay.
want to vote? Motion to adjourn?
Second,
Roll call, Steve Moore,
Yes.
David Vine,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
yes.
Bill Mullen,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Okay.
See
everyone,
y'all
take
next
care.
year.
Yeah.
2023.
Have a good one.
Care,
Yeah.
everyone.
Joy.
Bye-bye.